叫嗨酷全球创业者论坛。那不论对创业者来说，还是对正在壮大的企业来说，国际的合作与交流是非常重要的。但是呢，我们看到现在由于种种原因，在世界上看到了一股逆全球化的潮流，而这个潮流呢，也是越来越强烈。那么我们怎么面对这种逆全球化的潮流？我们又怎么重新思考和定位自己在这个潮流里面的位置呢？下面我们就有请亚洲基础设施投资银行副行长兼秘书长 Sir Danny Alexander, Vice President and Corporate Secretary of Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank. 他的演讲的主题是 Investing in Infrastructure for Tomorrow.
各位来宾，女士们、先生们，大家好。I'm going to make the rest of my speech in English. I would like to thank the hosts and organizers of this wonderful event and the competition that led up to it, the Beijing Talent Bureau and High Cool, and most of all, I'd like to offer my most sincere congratulations to all of the winners of today's competition. I hope your businesses will become household names in the future. It's a real privilege to be here among so many entrepreneurs. You're an inspirational group of people, and your ideas and talents will make a huge difference to people's lives in future. It might surprise you, but the Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank has a lot in common with you. Our organization is new, set up only 5 years ago with a strong sense of purpose and a clear mission. Now we are out of our startup phase. I would like to share some of our experiences. The AIB is not a private company, but rather we're an international financial institution, first proposed by China, set up by 57 governments from around the world, and now with a membership that has grown to 103 members from around the world. Like the World Bank or the Asian Development Bank, we have multilateral governance, we follow high standards in our projects. We've been set up with the mission to support sustainable economic development in Asia and beyond, and to enhance cooperation in the region. And we do that by providing finance to infrastructure projects, whether it's a gas pipeline from Azerbaijan into Turkey, one of the world's largest solar energy parks in Egypt, or thousands of kilometers of road in India or Bangladesh. So far we've financed nearly $20 billion of projects in 26 economies around the world. The idea of AIB was first proposed by President Xi Jinping of China, and China is our largest shareholder. The AIB's home and permanent headquarters is also here in Beijing. But we've been jointly set up and jointly owned by those 103 members. As a multilateral organization, we work for the benefit not of any one member, but of all of them. In July, we were honored that President Xi delivered the opening address at our virtual annual meeting. He remarked that Yatohan Peng Yo Chuan Yula Yuda Hao Huoban Yula Yudo Herzo Zheliang Yula Yuogao Zhan Shile Zhuan Ye Gao Shao Lianjie de Xinsheng Duobian Kaifa Inhang de Jianxin Xinxiang. He also renewed the case for multilateral cooperation, saying that to address issues emerging in the course of economic globalization, countries should pursue more inclusive global governance, more effective multilateral institutions, and more robust regional cooperation. That is exactly what AIIB is striving to do. Now, despite AIIB's grand ambition, with governments from around the world forming our shareholder base, we too are actually a startup. We're less than 5 years old. We began operations in January 2016, albeit with $100 billion of capital from our member governments. In almost 5 years, our operation has gone through its own startup journey. Successful startups are driven by a strong sense of social purpose, a strong sense of mission. In our case, a mission to improve people's lives. This is the case for all of today's winners in the competition and for the AIIB. We were created to promote sustainable economic development in Asia by investing in infrastructure projects. Infrastructure can change people's lives. As you say in China, Yao Shang Fu, Xian Xiu Lu. And we want to do it in a way that is lean, clean, and green. These are our core values. The most successful startups come from an entrepreneur seeing an opportunity to make a positive impact on society and then doing something about it. New businesses provide choice and competition. Sometimes they invent something entirely new. But all start from this desire to have an impact on society. But crucial to entrepreneurial success, as others have said, is the right location and a supportive environment. Beijing has proved to be an excellent location for AIIB. I moved to Beijing nearly 5 years ago, and I'm very happy to call this city home. There are many benefits to locating here. Beijing, of course, is a major global capital. It's well served in normal times by international flights. Beijing Capital Airport is the world's second busiest. Beijing is incredibly safe and stable, allowing startup organizations to focus their efforts on dealing with market risks and business challenges. Beijing's home to a cluster of excellent universities, municipal universities, universities like Tsinghua and Beida that are among the best in the world. This guarantees a steady pool of world-class graduates and world-class talent. Others have talked about the Center of Technology Excellence at Zhongguancun. To attract international talent, you need to provide a great place to live as well as to work. And I think Beijing does well on this score too. The quality of education in both international and local schools is a particular selling point for this city. And the Beijing municipal government is working very hard to further develop Beijing's attractiveness in key sectors. The city authorities have provided AIIB with strong support, and for this both the members and the management of the Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank are deeply appreciative and very grateful. The city authorities have always demonstrated their willingness to support and help AIIB, including, for instance, with the return of international staff following the COVID-19 pandemic. And the brand new state-of-the-art permanent AIIB headquarters pictured behind me at the Olympic Park is another wonderful example. Our new offices are a magnificent place to work, meeting high environmental standards. I invite you all to come and visit us and see for yourselves. I also want to recognize the work of the Beijing government and other authorities in keeping the COVID-19 pandemic under control in the city. Those measures now allow millions of households and businesses to return to their daily lives with minimal disruption. This has given companies across the city the opportunity to begin rebuilding after the pandemic. And looking at many difficulties sadly being faced in many parts of the world, we should not take for granted what has been achieved here in Beijing. As an international institution, AIIB also has a deep responsibility to support our members as they deal with the COVID-19 pandemic. As part of the international response, we set up a crisis response facility, $13 billion set aside for this purpose. And in fact, our very first project to respond to COVID-19 was a public health infrastructure project in Beijing. AIB has also financed 2 low-carbon energy transition projects for Beijing. These will help to replace coal energy generation capacity with gas instead in and around Beijing, which will contribute to improve the city's air quality. This short video will show you the impact that one such project has made on people here.
我叫魏虎，今年91。我生在肖庄，长在肖庄。小的时候啊，捡柴让我妈做饭，一进屋这呛死，睁不开眼。
我也比较担心宝宝的身体，还有大人的身体。
然后我们每次出去带孩子玩也好，上学也好，都必须戴着口罩。
每天要添3次火，3次火，屋里都是乌烟瘴气。
一共对北京市10个区县、328个村镇实施了煤改气工作，使北京市农村用户使用上了清洁、安全的天然气能源。
终于我们盼来了煤改气。
通过煤改气呢，居民在供暖方面就更方便。
最干净了，着了。一会儿没有10几分钟，屋里热了，特别暖和。
所以说，我们现在对这个生活环境还是很满意的。
现在很方便，也很快捷，给我们的生活也更美好吧。
污染呢也减少了，我很开心。
So I hope that video conveys better than any speech can the sense of purpose, the idea behind the AIIB. And having that sense of purpose is also one of the ingredients which helps to attract the right talent, which is also so crucial for startups. We've seen this during the startup phase of AIIB, and during our startup phase, we put a lot of thought into how to do this. And I'd also like to say it's why the work of the Beijing Talent Bureau is so important. I'd like to recognize their great efforts. They've been very supportive of AIB and provided a lot of assistance in smoothing the process of bringing on new members of staff and helping to find employment opportunities for their spouses too. The Talent Bureau do excellent work in fostering a high-talent job market here in Beijing, and the success of this competition is another example of that work. Before moving to Beijing, I was a politician in the United Kingdom and a cabinet minister between 2010 and 2015. Indeed, as the chief negotiator for my party in setting up the first coalition government in the UK for more than 70 years, that could be considered political entrepreneurship. But from my own experience in the UK, it's really important for authorities who lead cities to have an ambitious and clear strategy to meet the challenges that cities face around the world. And Beijing's city strategy is a great example, setting out a compelling vision for how to make this city ever more attractive. One of the major challenges facing the world now is a rise in protectionism and a consequent slowdown in international engagement and cooperation. And of course this is disappointing and challenging for those of us who believe in the benefits of international cooperation. The success of AIB shows that international cooperation can continue to work well even in these challenging times. But the best antidote is to continue to open and create more opportunities for engagement. In this context, the ambition of developing Beijing as a center for international economic exchange should be encouraged and welcomed, as it will directly contribute to international cooperation. And I think all of us who are located here also have a responsibility to contribute to this important goal. As I said, a key part of the plan is to attract top-tier talent, top-tier international talent to Beijing. AIB is directly contributing to this right now. We already have more than 300 staff from more than 52 different nationalities, and many hundreds more will come in the years to come. These staff members and their families have made their homes in Beijing, and over the time as AIB grows, other supporting organizations who work very closely with us could also grow their footprint here in Beijing, much like the presence of the World Bank in Washington, D.C. has given rise to an international development-focused center of excellence. As an international institution, we hold many international meetings, seminars and conferences in Beijing as part of our day-to-day work, and when travel restrictions allow, we'll again bring many leaders and international experts to support our work here. Part of being an international city, a center of international exchange, is also to study other cities like London or Dubai, many of which are AIB members. We stand ready to facilitate such exchanges, and indeed already have brought together Luxembourg, where we held our annual meeting last year, and Beijing, our home city. And we welcome suggestions and invite suggestions on how AIB can further support the city of Beijing in its endeavors to continue growing as an international center. As part of the community of this city, we also want to contribute to its development, and I hope we will work with many of you on this too. AIB's mission is to finance infrastructure for tomorrow. We will finance both public and private sector projects because of the impact infrastructure can make on the world around us. And we know particularly infrastructure investment has the greatest impact in developing countries and countries that are starting their growth trajectory. As I say, we can finance both public and private sector projects. So if any of you here today have infrastructure projects or project ideas that will help to contribute to the goal of supporting sustainable development in Asia, especially in low and middle income countries, then please come and talk to us. We want to invest in the infrastructure that our members will need for the next few decades, not the last few decades. We call this infrastructure for tomorrow. This means infrastructure which is green, which is digital, which promotes connectivity, and which can mobilize private sector finance. As you will all know, climate change is perhaps the most pressing global challenge of the century. It's already having severe effects, and without action will get much worse, especially here in Asia. Huge investments will be needed in green infrastructure over the decades to come if temperature rises are to be stopped. AIB sees that as a major priority for our investments. We also will focus on supporting connectivity and regional cooperation. Improving infrastructure connections in Asia and promoting regional cooperation can help to significantly enhance competition, productivity, economic growth by increasing the flow of people and goods, capital, services, and of course, today, information. And we want to mobilize private capital for this journey too. The scale of the need for infrastructure investment in Asia, perhaps $1.7 trillion per year, is much greater than the resources available to the World Bank or to the AIB or to other multilateral institutions. And most importantly, perhaps, for this audience, infrastructure for tomorrow is technology enabled. Used appropriately and effectively, new technology will improve traditional infrastructure by streamlining processes, enhancing economic and social benefits, and promoting sustainability, quality, and safety, as well as reducing costs and risks. As we heard earlier, technology is not an end in itself, but an important means to provide a solution to the many challenges that many of our members face. And for AIB, we particularly want to invest in digital technology and digital infrastructure that helps to bridge the digital divides that still exist in so many societies, between digital haves and digital have-nots. I don't think there are any digital have-nots in this room, but we've seen around the world in responding to the COVID-19 crisis that those places with strong digital infrastructure, with strong digital communications and services, have been well placed to support their populations through this crisis. We've set out a strategy for investing in digital infrastructure, and growing that part of our investment portfolio is a core priority for us for the years to come. Many of your businesses, perhaps all of the businesses in this room, are focused on providing technological innovations, digital solutions that can help solve problems and make a real impact on society, to help people on the wrong side of the digital divide to catch up. I encourage you to continue developing your ideas, your businesses, and come and speak to us if you think that you have a project or an idea that fits what I've said and you think that AIB could invest in. I hope you can now understand the work of AIB and our journey as we began working here in Beijing. And we look forward to working closely with the Beijing municipal government and others more broadly for the development of this city, which is our home. We're a different kind of organization to many of those here today, but we're also doing something new, like all of you. We're the first multilateral development bank to be headquartered here in Beijing, the first such new institution of the 21st century, and the first with a clear focus on infrastructure as an engine of growth and development. Once again, I'd like to offer my sincere congratulations to all of the competition winners. I wish all the entrepreneurs every success with the future as you carry on with your journey. You've already made a very good decision by choosing to base yourself here in Beijing. The businesses you build have the potential to make a difference to millions of lives. Thank you all for listening, and look forward to welcoming you to the AIIB. Thank you.